Well, I don't really like putting out political videos much, but I do sometimes just, and I got my own twist on things. First off, I just want to say is it's time to really dump the major media completely. Even if you're getting whatever kind of information you like to hear, they just really follow what the audience wants. I mean, even like I don't know, say you're conservative, right? You got Bill O'Reilly. He's a yo-yo. He's another guy that just he's going to play one way or the other. And I don't know. I see these conservatives watching this guy like they're glued to the set. You know, it's like I don't know where the hell I fall in. I'm not really that conservative. I'm conservative in pro-gun rights and pro-life, but I'm pretty damn liberal as far as everything else. And I just think government ought to just stick their freaking nose out of our affairs. And I'm more for states' rights, and the states need to get out of our affairs, and the counties need to get out of our affairs. We don't need them. You know, that's what I look at it like. Be independent. Now, one thing I want to point out, I know, like the major media is going to harp on, Donald Trump didn't win the popular vote. Maybe he did, maybe he didn't. I think he won by a landslide on the popular vote due to, when you're looking at statistical sampling, we know the major media was rigging the hell out of those polls. They're taking 500 people, handpicked more than likely, not from the table of random digits. But when you're looking at political rallies over a period of a couple of years, Trump had massive political rallies. Those are people that are motivated to get out there. They weren't paid to do that. Hillary had far more money than Trump, and she was getting minuscule rallies. So that's telling me, look, I'm kind of familiar with what happened in the state of Florida. I am pretty familiar. Even in South Florida, Trump had massive rallies compared to Hillary Clinton. Also want to mention, this is the Florida state flag with the red X. And, I put a lot of videos, just as a side note, I put a lot of videos which are not, the smart thing to do for Google algorithms about the Confederate flag. And, the Confederate flag has an X in it. Well, this Florida flag came from the Spanish flag, from Spanish rule. That's really where it's come from. The Spanish flag had a very similar flag, except it had a red X and it had a white background. Except the Florida flag has the Great Seal of Florida with the American Seminole Indians on it, which are the only undefeated tribe in, all American Indian kingdomdom, whatever you want to call it. So, just as a side note, and I put out stuff that I know does not help me on YouTube because they don't like hearing that shit. The powers that be, but I just do it anyway. So I'm a pretty damn honest guy. I'm not beholden to anybody. I mean, I get offers from freaking people that go on their thing and that thing, and I'm like, I don't want to be limited. I notice some boundaries on YouTube, but they're pretty damn well open to a lot of stuff. That's the thing. Now, also, I really, kiss Hillary for prison. I would never wear a Hillary for prison shirt. I'd probably wear the shirt, hang the bitch, hail the beast, or hang the witch, hail the beast. But even so, if I was running the show and I'd be the one to punish her or something like that. I don't even know what I do. I mean, I probably, like I said, like in another video, I suggested she probably should be the head of the, a newly appointed cabinet for lesbian, bisexual, transgender, gay affairs or some crap, and we get rid of that. That could appease the liberal side, which I don't really give a damn what people do. I mean, just a bullshit cabinet, right? But if the overall money that's spent in the government goes down, like in other words, if we get rid of the stupid Environmental Protection Agency, which is ridiculously freaking killing industry, and I know I'm all for saving the trees too and everything, and the HUD, urban develop, housing, urban development. We get rid of the Department of Education, which is government brainwashing. Department of Energy, which did absolutely nothing. That was created by Nixon, Mr. Republican. And I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm fed up with all these guys. But the point is, we don't need to send somebody to Washington to fix everything. That's always been my point. Hopefully with Trump, he plays "you're fired." That's what I like to see. Now I also want to mention Bohemian Grove. I think that was picked up on the Alex Jones show a long time ago after he made those crazy predictions about the Russians getting ready to blow us up on New Year's Eve on December 31st, 1999, which is Y2K. Remember he was doing that? He lost all his credibility, then all of a sudden he was able to walk into Bohemian Grove and capture, the big sacrifice. Well, whatever. So I don't trust that guy. I don't trust him. So, like, I feel like the only way you're going to get information, I'm not going to be able to give you all kinds of great information. I do know some things, but there's a reason why I've been around. It's not strictly for accounting skills, it's for organization skills mainly too, mathematical skills, but also this other type of sense where I can see what's going on from other angles. Why I was working for other people that were pretty strong and very aggressive entrepreneurs. Um, so maybe I'll come up with some angles that you probably might not hear on the rest of the alternative media. And I don't consider myself a fear monger. I do have in the back of my head some things that I think could be potential problems. Like I'm aware about the message of Fatima and about how Russia is going to be used by the instrument of God as an instrument of God to chastise mankind for its sins. I believe that message. I don't know because of the miracle. I can't deny that miracle. There's other things in the Bible that say things. Maybe we're going to come up to some tumultuous times. I don't know. I don't know, man. I don't know. I think if she got in, yeah, I'd be building a bomb shelter if she got in, man. I swear to God, I might even do that anyway, just for the hell of it. Good for tornadoes or something. But as far as the stuff that's been going on, all these creeps in the Republican and Democratic Party have been involved in all kinds of wacky devil worshiping, witchcraft. Hillary was in witchcraft. The Bushes, I can't stand them. Romney. I didn't vote for Romney last time. Yeah, I voted for that yo-yo Gary Johnson. Until I found out he's a yo-yo too. It's like I'm calling him a yo-yo. The one thing that really put me over on not voting for Romney last time was there was a lot of things I didn't like about him, but I was thinking I had enough of this Obama yo-yo. But Romney, one time there was this kid. He was not a kid. He was like a young teenager. He was in a wheelchair, and he says the only thing that helped him was medicinal marijuana. And, Romney was like blowing him off about that stuff because he's Mr. Big Oil, and he didn't care. He showed absolutely no empathy for the kid at all. Now, Trump shows a lot of empathy. I don't know if I really don't know where this guy is exactly, to tell you the truth. He is a slick guy. Trump is a slick guy. Because, if you look back at my videos, I was flip-flopping back and forth on him so many times because he's indicated so many times that he was buddy-buddy with the Clintons. He called Hillary Clinton the greatest senator, the great senator, many times over. He called Bill Clinton the greatest president we ever had. I don't even know where the hell. And in the last couple of years, he's been consistent. But who the hell knows? I just hope what I hope is it's not going to be a Trump thing. It's us. We need to first, that's the point of my video. We need to first reject the media, the major media, and even a lot of the big alternative media. I could tell you some of the biggest names, not only Alex Jones, but Abby Martin, all that kind of crap. They're all connected to money behind the scenes. Like here's money, honey over here. Now, actually, a lot of things that probably be more important for me to put on YouTube is abs. I think when it really comes down to it, people don't really give a shit about who gets elected as long as they got killer abs. Is that not true? Is that really true? I mean, the election's over with. Whoever the hell we get, maybe it's the same boss, maybe it's a different flavor. I don't know. I really don't know. I think Trump's going to be okay. I think he's going to be better than Ronnie Reagan. Ronnie Reagan's supposed to be the big hero of the freaking Republican Party. Ugh. Yeah, he was a fake. His speeches didn't match his actions. One thing I'm kind of worried about with Trump, but he's better than anybody we've had in many years. It looks like. I hope. I mean, I just couldn't. If Jim Webb, who's used to be the former Secretary of the Navy, highly decorated Vietnam veteran, senator from Virginia, Harvard fellow, if he was running on the Democratic Party, I would have definitely voted Democrat, no doubt. But Democrats, well, I don't think the Democrats did choose Hillary. She cheated in the primary. But what's really more important on YouTube? Abs than politics. So I got to put some of these political things out because it's like I don't really like a lot of what the major media is saying. I don't like what the major media is saying. I don't like what the major media says either, which they're supposed to be, right? And I don't even know what conservative means. To me, I don't like a lot of conservatives. There's only some things I like about conservatives, like pro-defense. I'll call that instead of pro-gun, pro-defense, and pro-life. Otherwise, a lot of times I think they're really kind of mean. A lot of times I do. I think a lot of conservatives are pretty damn mean. They're freaking like, yeah, I don't like that stuff. I put out a lot of stuff about Putin. I mean, I don't know if Putin's that bad, really. I don't. He is bad. Don't kid yourself. But I think Hillary would make him look like a saint. And we get into World War III. And here's Putin with Ted Turner. I don't know. I mean, they're all in the club. I pointed this out. Is Trump in the club? I mean, George Soros gave him mezzanine loans. I mean, he knows Soros pretty damn. He's all in a club too. I don't know what the hell he's going to do. We'll find out. I mean, I hope he's. I mean, I just know that Hillary, God, and she did cheat like crazy, man. There was all kinds of freaking voter stuffing going on and freaking electronic voter rigging. I think there was. You got to go back to the rallies. It wasn't like one rally was really big for Trump, but he wasn't paying all these people $50. They were paying money to see him. And his rallies were like 100 times bigger or more than the Hillary rallies. You'd think this guy would have had at least 70-80% of the vote. Easy. That's probably really what he got. Which is scary because that's the first. If any Trump does anything, my point is, just like this Vlad guy, you think this Vlad guy's been in power since 2000 because of fair elections? No. I mean, yeah, I know he was prime minister for a while when Medvedev was around, but yeah, he was running a show, right? I mean, him getting 80-90% of the vote, get the hell out of here. It's like we got to freaking get back to, we got to have like a, what do you call it? A vote with an audit trail, paper receipt, and you can take that paper receipt, verify it, and make sure your vote got counted with like a, I don't know, special number on it. I don't know what you would call it. And I know there's going to be a lot of people dissatisfied with Trump, chicks with pink hair, wearing pink things on their feet. I don't know, do whatever you want. Trump is a crazy dude, though, because, like, when you seen him on, like, Saturday Night Live and him in a WWF, I don't even watch WWF. I saw a couple snippets of him. He is not exactly what you call your dyed-in-the-wool Eastern establishment conservative. He is so much different from, Bush, H.W. Bush. So much different. He's so much different from Ronnie Reagan. He reminds me more of a Kennedy, and I just hope he's not like a Kennedy where he gets hurt like a Kennedy, because I like JFK, John F. Kennedy, and I like Bobby Kennedy. Um, does that make me a Democrat? I don't even know what the hell that means. This is a bunch of bullshit. I mean, I'm getting emails from the Republican National Convention Committee saying, yeah, the vote makes a difference. I don't give a shit, pal. I don't really give a damn. I'm not. You can call me. Yeah, I'm registered as a Republican, but I can tell you there's a lot of corrupt Republicans. I'll tell you one that's a real corrupt Republican is damn governor for Florida, Rick Scott. That guy, I voted for him. I didn't know what this guy was about. He's bad news. But then the Democrat jerks were freaking screwed up. That's why we need less government, especially, and we don't need government involved in medical. Forget about it. And I don't know. I don't think protesting out in the street is the answer, because this will be the end result. If you put your whole body and face right out there. I mean, yeah. I mean, maybe there's a time when it's the last resort, but that's not really the smartest way to do it. And voting, yeah, maybe that. Well, voting worked because, God, there must have been I think there had to be about 75% for Trump for this shit to get pulled off. Easy. I'm telling you, the rallies are far more statistically relevant when you're taking a sample size of the population. The rallies are not like, we're the ones that were actually being paid to show up was the Hillary rallies. The Trump rallies, I mean, yeah, he's got money, but he doesn't have the money of the Clinton Foundation or the Democratic machine. The big bucks was on her, big time. And that's really one of the reasons you shouldn't vote for whatever the hell they're for. That's really what it is. Now, I think like with Trump, it's going to kind of look a little bit. The White House is going to kind of look like a very famous Democrat. And Trump used to be a Democrat. He's from New York City. He's like a liberal. I mean, he's not. I don't know what the hell he fits in. And he said so many different things over the past. I am not sure what this guy's going to do. I've been saying this. But he has been consistent over the last couple of years. But he has been consistent with another thing. forever was about the America First deal. He's always been talking about the unfair trade agreements the United States has been getting, and that's true. Because the New World Order wants it's not a conspiracy, it's a reality. Like it's a real conspiracy if you want to put it that way. The New World Order does want to bring down the manufacturing of the United States and put everything on an even playing field where there's going to be a wealthy elite and everybody's going to be poor. Which those people that are elitist are morons for doing that because they can get even more by not trying to squash what's happening with the, what do you call them, the underclasses like us, because a lot of times unexpected things come from, and developments or inventions come from people that are ordinary people. And you can see that it's been like that throughout the ages. For these know-it-alls on the top to think they can control everything, micromanagement doesn't work. That's what elitists are screwed up. We work better as a team. I think the Trump administration is kind of more going to resemble not the Reagan administration, because I'm not too keen on that guy in a lot of ways. He talked a good line, but he wasn't really. He was a big oil guy, big military. Trump actually was with Pelosi, Nancy Pelosi, siding with her, going against the 2003 Iraq War. He was going against the Republicans big time because it was a war that shouldn't have been, right? I mean, that kind of reminds me of John F. Kennedy not wanting us to get involved in Vietnam. I hope the rest of the analogy doesn't happen where something happens with Trump. I hope nothing happens with him. But, for people that I am still somewhat on the fence with Trump. I mean, I'm never a person that completely trusts everything all the way. I mean, it's not like being paranoid, but it's like I watch for what comes out of left and right field. And I know Trump is, in that kind of money, the guy's a slickster. I mean, no matter what. And if he's been BSing about the Clintons all the time, calling Bill the greatest president we ever had and playing golf with him and all that shit, he was blowing smoke up his wazoo for many years. And then all of a sudden his true colors came out. And it's like, he's slick, man. He's probably a lot slicker than JFK, I think, in a lot of ways, because JFK was an experienced politician. I like JFK. I know if I was handling the Cuban Missile Crisis, I wouldn't have pulled any missiles out of there, and I would have given all the support in the world for the landing at the Bay of Pigs. I would have given air support and the whole 9 yards. I would have done that if I was JFK. That's where I would be different. But in a lot of things, he was great. I don't know. Maybe Trump's going to be. I don't know. He might be all right. But the problem is, if the American people think, you get too much following behind one leader, I don't like that. I don't give a damn how good the leader is. You don't want to get into this mode of empire. We are a constitutional republic. And what makes a constitutional republic is independent people that can stand on their own 2 feet and survive economically on their own 2 feet. And that's really why, like, if you look at the early days of the Roman Republic, it was the citizen, soldier, farmer. And that's kind of like, well, that's actually what we were back at, in the beginning, at the inception of the United States. And maybe that's what it's going to come around to again. I don't know. Maybe not. So, but if Hillary won, well, let me put it this way. I honestly, just from knowing statistics and looking at a 500 sample size from the major media and how they picked a sample, and they're not randomly picking people like they say they are. They were skewing the polls left and right. These rallies are really what's saying what's going on. But say, for instance, Hillary Clinton won the election and there was actually popular support for her. Well, I would think we're going into World War III because I wouldn't trust her. We might be going to World War III anyway because of all the crap's been going on over the last umpteen years with, with Syria and all this other shit. But if she got in, I'd be thinking we'd be going to World War III, and I'd be like, so be it. I'd be building a bomb shelter, to tell you the truth, for real. I'd be like, eh. But, I'd be thinking, well, if the Hillary people wanted her, guess what you get. But, I don't know. To tell you the truth, I don't even know what the hell this guy can do, even if he's like a saint. What the hell could this guy do? He's one guy. It's we the people got to quit looking to government for freaking crap that they could fix the economy. Because when the government's fixing the economy, that's the definition of fascism. You got Obama fixing the economy. You got the Bushes fixing the economy. You got Clinton's fixing the economy. I mean, look how good the economy was under Bill Clinton. What does that have to do with anything? What the president is supposed to enforce a minimal amount of laws, which are mainly um, laws that are designed to protect individual and I guess you call it civil rights now, but it should have been individual rights. But if the laws were applied the right way in the first place, and people read the Bible in the right way in the first place, they wouldn't have had slavery in the United States in the first place, right? So then you got to make extra laws to fix things, right? Because nobody freaking can read what an English word means. Rights are endowed by the Creator. All men are created equal, right? Unless you come from Africa, right? That's what they used to have back here in 1700s and 1800s. Or if you're an American Native Indian and you're living on this, you know what I mean. These people, like, oh God, and that's the one thing I got a problem with these quote unquote liberals. They're freaking fascist. I'm a liberal in a real sense, and somebody says that's libertarian. Well, I don't know if I'm a libertarian because I think Gary Johnson's a yo-yo, man. I'll tell you the truth. I don't know where the hell I fit in. But honestly, I'm going to keep on with some of these political videos somewhat. It's not that I really like doing them so much, but it's like I think I'm an alternative to the alternative. And we're going to throw in some other things and stuff, because I don't like having a channel about one subject only. I'm sorry, and I know it's supposed to open up 10 channels and you've got 10 different subjects, but I don't like doing that. So, YouTube can figure it out. They can figure it out. But that's my point. YouTube right now, despite maybe some of its shortcomings here and there, that maybe they don't allow you to do this or they don't monetize something because they don't like it, whatever the hell it is. There's way more freedom on YouTube than there is anywhere. And it's the only place you can get a worldwide web platform, and it's, I know they kind of like some videos and they push some and they don't like some, but you know what I mean. And it's like, really what the people got to do is say, screw the major media, to hell with them. To hell with even the big alternative media that's got these big channels and stuff like that, because they're BS too. They're funded. And, it doesn't mean you go with me, because I'm not going to put all political videos out. I can tell you that right now. I don't really like doing these too much. But you can tell, I don't really, usually I'm not very serious on my political videos that much, to tell you the truth. Sometimes I tell you some scary stuff. I think we're going to go into, problems with, I don't know. I mean, I think if Hillary got in, we'd probably, God, I mean, I don't want to, I don't want to get anybody mad it was for Hillary, but, I think honestly, I know about the Bushes. I know about the Clintons. I know about Ronnie Reagan involved in the Iran-Contra. I'm not like a staunch conservative. I can tell you that right now. I think Bill O'Reilly's a load of crap. I mean, Jon Stewart is a load of crap many times, but not all the times. And I kind of like him because he's funny. But Bill O'Reilly's not funny. But that helps too. But you see what I'm saying? I don't even know where the hell I fit in. But who the hell needs this shit? You remember? You remember? Nobody remembers. Nobody's been around. But like when the country was first formed, people came here to get away from the bullshit in Europe. And then when it started getting established in the East Coast, they start going west. Get away from this crap. Actually, to tell you the truth, California was I wish I lived there in the 60s. California would have been absolutely great. Boy, they didn't need to do that again. The real hippies, the real motorcycles, get rid of the helmet laws. The hell, Florida is actually getting more like the old California in the 60s. We got rid of the helmet laws. We actually got more beaches than they do because it goes all around. It's warmer, and there's no mountains, but you can go up. There's mountains up in North Carolina that ain't that far away, which is just as much travel as in California. I don't know, man. Dixie's not too bad, actually, to tell you the truth. So, man, I mean, the one place I really, really wish would get straightened out is California. Oh man, California, man. It's I'm kind of going off on a tangent, but it's I think the major media brainwashing is part of what wrecked California, and that's really my point. Get the hell away from the major media, and it doesn't mean listen to these big name. David Icke is a pile of bull crap. I mean, the lizard people for crying out loud. Um, and Alex Jones, if he was legit, he would have been dead a million years ago. Abby Martin's the daughter of some freaking big yo-yo. I forgot who the hell it was she's connected to. Nothing's going to happen to her. She can report everything she wants. Nothing's going to happen to her. Anybody else that reports stuff that's serious, that gets at somebody, you know what happens. But, right? But nothing's going to happen to me either because I hope not. But anyway, I'm going to keep throwing some things out here. But that's really my point. You got to get the hell away from the major media. And even the larger alternative media. It doesn't mean you go with me because I'm not going to do all the political videos, man. I'm not doing current events left and right. I really don't like going, and I've been doing them because I felt like I didn't like, well, definitely didn't like the major media. I didn't like the conservative major media. I don't like a lot of the big alternative media, and so I felt like I put my own twist out there because I think I got more of a unique message. And like again, I want to say, there's a couple ways I'm conservative, but in a lot of ways I ain't. I'm not. And I'm not a libertarian, I don't think either. I could tell you like, I don't really give a damn if people come here illegally as long as they don't get like a bunch of government benefits being here illegally. I mean, I don't even give a damn about the illegals as long as they're working to make their own way. I don't give a shit. You know? The problem is the freaking government's going broke paying these guys for different things. That's really, and we ain't got the money. I'm not even against the illegals per se. I mean, shit. I mean, I think I probably had some ancestors that were illegals and from the Italy side. So I don't give a damn, right? But, just get the hell away from the major media. They're crap. And I'll try to fill. Maybe I have been doing more political videos lately. I don't know. But I'll try to fill that void because I think the alternative media that's big on YouTube is garbage. They're disinformation. They're backed by money. They're fear mongers. They're people. They're trying to get you to hit the panic button. They're telling you the lizard people are coming to bite you and coming out from the earth like David Icke and eat you or something. And Alex Jones is always saying, the FEMA body bags. Yeah, they're sure. I told you they were there. I know they're there. Well, whatever. Fine. He ain't going to be in one. I can tell you that right now. And, a lot of people are connected in the big alternative media. If they're putting out all political current events shit, and they got loads of freaking, they got 100,000 plus subscribers, they're connected. You got to, in Jones, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? I mean, they work hard, but I'm saying is they're connected. They're connected. And that's the only reason I'm putting out more of these political videos because I'm like, I don't see. I look at a lot of this stuff and I think it's people looking for information and getting hammered all the way around. This Trump guy, I think he's pretty legit. But like I said, one guy isn't going to fix everything, man. We the people got to be independent. We the people got to get along with each other. We the people got to use common sense. We the people got to tell the government to go to hell. And we don't need to protest to do that, right? You got to learn how to play below the radar. That's all I got to say.